Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Foreman, and this is the Rusty Blackbird. This is the big daddy in the Rusty arsenal for just big surf. You know, like whether you're going to Tavarua and you want to ride Dealing Cloud Break, or you're at Ocean Beach and it's a big day in Ocean Beach, San Francisco, or Outer Banks, and you're on the third bar outside the boiler and you just want a board that's going to get you into the bigger stuff, have a lot of open water paddle speed, and cover a lot of ground in turns. The Blackbird is the board in the Rusty lineup to be looking at. So we talked a little bit about the Rusty Slayer, and that board being a compact step-up board. And this is a good board to talk about when we're talking about a board, longer rail line, more drive through the turns, and the ability to cover more ground, both paddling and then also ground on those long turns in bigger surf. So this board, they're not trying to make it as short as possible. They're trying to make the board cover as much ground paddling and cover as much ground turning and projecting out of the turns as they possibly can on those bigger waves, which is a bigger canvas that you have to get yourself across. So with this board, you're going to notice the outline of the board stretching into a slightly narrower nose than the Slayer, and then also more foiled out in the front of the board than the Slayer, and then also drawing out to a narrower round pin or just full-on pintail on this board. Again, when you go to a tail that's this design, it's going to be moderating the lift of the board, neutralizing the board, or even taking a little bit of the lift away from the board, just to keep the board down in the water, traveling at those high speeds. Because when you're on this board, you're in a full send mission, and you don't want that tail creating any lift at all. You want it to be down on the water. This board, also you're going to notice that there is some dome in the deck, so the width that you're looking at is centralized just on the stringer, and you're seeing that the rail itself is really dropping off from that max thickness to having less thickness on the rail of the board. Again, with how fast you're going and with how you're drawing these turns out, you want to be able to put that rail in and have it stay in the water. So having that narrower tail and the thinner rail on this board allows you to do that. So with the Slayer is more like you're getting into the wave and you're just parking yourself in the pit of the wave, and you're not as concerned with covering big distance in turns. This board is when if it's a sectiony beach break but big, or if there's the speed that you're traveling on the wave is such that you're having to really minimize the rail volume and just the size of the wave. You just need more rail line to cover those distances. That's when you go up to the Blackbird. It's going to be a great paddling board just by the sheer length of it, but also the rocker in the board is a little bit flatter up front. It actually has just a little bit of a belly, a little bit of a reverse V up here, just to break through any chop that could be coming up the face, or even just open water paddling, just to keep that speed up going forward, and then into a very shallow single to double going through the board. The rails, again, like really tapered. The other thing that you're going to see in these boards is extra wood. You're looking at the stringer on this board. You're going to see the thickness of the stringer be increased. When you're in these sort of waves, when you blow a wave or you get stuck inside, like that's when you break your board. And so by having a thicker stringer, if you're going to put a thicker stringer in any of your boards, this is the board to do it in. So Blackbirds typically come with a stepped up stringer to go with the stepped up size surf that you're riding them in. You typically see these boards in the upper, mid to upper sixes, up through the mid sevens, sometimes custom all the way up to 8-footer. And super popular board in Ocean Beach, California. You see a lot of these boards, like we mentioned earlier, like on the destination trips, like where you're riding those outer reef passes, and you want a board that can handle the bigger size surf and the higher speeds of the bigger size surf. So it's the Rusty Blackbird. It is the big wave weapon. This board that I'm holding on to right now is a 7.3, and this is what I would ride in this board. I actually have one waiting for me on the rack at home. I've gotten so many invites to go on bigger wave trips and never really had the board. So when I ordered my Rusty Quiver, got one of those, got one of these as well to put in there. So I'll be ready for it. So stoked on it, and check it out. If you have any more information on if you need more information on the Rusty Blackbird, you can check out our website, realwatersports.com/surfing, or you can give us a call at the shop, standard analog phone style, 252-987-6000. Thanks for tuning in.